Hello, and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by Mike Smith, award-winning director Brian Redondo, and Savon Jones, aka Captain Vonnie. This is episode 50, and for our 50th episode, we're going to hand out the coveted 2021 Confidently Wrong Awards. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund.
Incredible!
Welcome back to the show, friends. We're in December, and it's 2021, guys, but what's most important is this is actually kicking off our 50th episode.
Oh my goodness. Ring the bell, everyone.
Yeah, Mike, where's our bell for this one, man? Ding, ding, ding.
50 years.
What is this?
Bell. Oh, I lost the bell.
Oh, production value.
Oh, no, I see the bell. I can't reach it, though.
All right.
Short arms. T-Rex problems.
Of our 50 episodes so far, not including the 3 bonus episodes or so we put out, 40 of them were actually released this year in the calendar year 2021. That's nearly one per week, gents. I know I can get on your nerves, but I gotta say, I really do enjoy doing the show with you guys. I'm not gonna say it makes me a better person, but certainly
I'd hope not.
Probably the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I've just been enjoying it. I love, hearing your guys' takes. You guys are so smart and hilarious. And
well, that's
so
true.
It's been great. Yeah. And we recently hit 100 downloads in 1 week, so that's been pretty cool to see our show growing. It's growing slowly, but it's growing, and I think it's growing in a genuine way. We didn't go viral and then just fade off into the sunset.
God forbid. I'd hate to go viral.
Hate to see it.
We're like the thing that slowly creeps up on you and kills you over the span of 20 years. That's us.
That's like every nature documentary that exists on Netflix right now. So, I've been thinking about ways to make the pod more interesting. What can we do? I've been thinking about like how to add video clips to our show. It's really been a good stroke of luck that I think the 4 of us have had great chemistry, and it's gotten better, as the episodes go on. I don't think I would have made it through 50 episodes of this if it weren't for you guys. So thank you so much for being great hosts. That's the end of the sappiness. I wanted to ask you guys, is there anything that you guys have learned or taken away? It doesn't say learn. Taken away from doing 50 podcasts with us. Savon?
I think what I've enjoyed most is I feel like when I'm at work, all of my brain skills are actively being used. And when I'm not at work, I turn them off because that's how I separate my work and my work life and personal life. And I don't know, doing this pod lets me kind of unlock some of those things, work mental skills, but in a fun way. So still being able to take notes, work on your comm skills, work on how you break down stuff. It's fun. And I get to do it for not work stuff. And I think talking with you all has also been helpful in finding a better lens to kind of critique things. So I have my takes. I have what I value in something. Like Wes, I disagree with so many of just your baseline values for how you enjoy content. But it's still a great lens to compare to my own to see what other people look for when they're watching something. And I really appreciate that. It's dope. It's nice to talk to people who enjoy the same stuff, but enjoy different things about the same stuff.
So to summarize, Savon's work-life balance has been eroded because he is constantly working and still thinks Wes has takes.
Oh my God.
Don't forget the brain skills.
I do not think Wes has bad takes. I just disagree with his takes.
I mean, I do. Oh, no.
Well,
the former over here.
Okay, some might be bad, but I understand where he's coming from. And that's better than people who say nonsense and it's like, I don't even know where you're coming from. How about that?
Brian, what have you taken away from
handshake
50
across
episodes?
the aisle? I mean, I think on a sour note, I'm very upset that this podcast occupies so much mental space in my brain and has made me go from like 50% otaku to like 100% otaku. I'm just like thinking about geek culture all the time. Like, oh, should I watch this? Because maybe we're going to talk about it on the podcast. Should I play this? Yeah, I think I should, because we're going to talk about it on the podcast. And like before, I was a well-rounded individual. You know, I watched a few MCU movies, but I still watch my art house films, and I read books, or I pretended to at least. But now I don't even pretend. I'm just like full-on geek all the time. And thanks a lot. Confidently wrong.
We make fun of you for not doing the prep work, but you're really doing the most prep work out of any of us.
Rent free.
It's like I'm doing the prep work that nobody asked me to do.
He's putting in
extra credit.
And then the stuff that Wes does ask, I just don't do it because Wes asked me.
Contrarian to the core. Mike?
This has given me much more insight into my dear friend Savon, who just flipped me off.
Middle finger to the sky, bro.
One very long, lanky middle finger. You know, I've known Savon not super long, but I think, you know, the few years we worked together kind of aged our friendship 5 or 10 years versus what might have just been 2.5 years. I've always known you've had some, you know, very strong opinions, and I always known like you've believed in them. They're consistent. I joke and call you dogmatic. It's just because you're consistent. This show has really helped me like unravel the onion that is just the way you perceive the world. And I completely stand by everything I've said. You are, if not consistent. I don't probably agree with like 90% of the takes you have, but like they're not coming from nowhere. I might not agree with the foundation of the house of your opinion that you're building, but the construction above the foundation, you know, is pretty impeccable. So I think this journey has really, I've unraveled like half the onion. Eventually, you know, when that comfy money comes in and we're doing this full time, I think we'll really just see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Well, after that love
you.
fest, kind of, I don't think, well, that was
it's like, we like doing this together. We all think the other ones are stupid, and like no one has good.
I really love these idiots.
They're always wrong, but
they're real.
It's
confidently wrong. It's kind of like, you know, like in The Walking Dead, the actual people are the Walking Dead, or like I Am Legend, like he's a legend. Confidently wrong is we just think all the other 3 people on the show are the wrong ones. None of us actually have the humility or self-awareness to be like, maybe I'm not right on this. It's like, no, these idiots are wrong.
Everyone's
I'm
wrong.
confident
I'm right.
they are wrong.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, well, moving on into our first story of the day, and it's one that me and Mike have talked about at length over text and in person before. It was the finale to the 2021 F1 season happened. The last race just ended a couple hours before we've taped this. There was controversy. There's been a protest. It was a wild way to finish an incredible season. Wait, Mike, don't share your screen because...
Oh, is it going to ruin our recording?
Yeah.
I was just trying to do a timer because the same way, you know, basketball talk in depth is verboten. I feel like we have to carry that over to Formula One.
All right. It was an incredible season, to say the least. Mike, how epic was this year? How... I want to say insane was this race. Are you able in any way, shape, or form to put into words what we just saw today and this year?
Yeah. I'll evoke friend of the show, Alan Wynn, as I frequently do. He's a big Hamilton fan. He really wanted Lewis to win. I wanted Max to win. I celebrated in the last lap, but like I was like also very like, wow, Lewis is going to have this crazy comeback across the season. It's just really remarkable to see him win so dominantly and then for that to get completely flipped on its head. Alan said that he felt the same way he felt during the Minneapolis Miracle, which was one of the Saints' many crushing playoff defeats at the end of Drew Brees' reign. So that alone kind of says how much of a big deal this was, because in New Orleans, that was like one of the most devastating things that's happened, you know, in the past 5 or 6 years, was that, and then the following year, the same playoff debacle.
For context, I don't know if people understand how the race sort of shaped up today for that to be sort of this gut punch at the end.
Essentially, Lewis had it in the bag. He was like 14 seconds ahead. And when you're driving 200 miles an hour, if you're doing that 14 seconds, you're pretty far ahead. So Lewis had it in the bag. It was over. Then at the very end, another guy crashed. That essentially caused them to have to almost stop everything. And then because of that, at the very end, Max was able to come back and win the championship. It's going to be litigated. In fact, there's a lawyer now in the meetings and shit like that. Excuse me, sorry, BK. I'm just going to apologize to BK from now on whenever, I swear. Look, all of that to say, this season has been absurd. Like, this was one of the most insane live sporting things I've ever seen in my life. Especially, like, you know, when you watch a crazy championship where you're emotionally involved and then it ends in a crazy way, like, the next few hours just kind of feel surreal, like you're watching the post game. You can't really believe that happened. And that very much was how it felt. That might have been impacted that I had been drinking since 7 a.m. But all of that to say, like, this season was amazing. Like, it was such a good time for, I think, a huge growth in their audience, particularly in the States. This season, this race, even if Lewis had won, like, some of the craziness in the beginning would have still been kind of emblematic of the way the season had gone as a whole. If you have not been watching Formula One, I think this coming season of the Netflix show is going to be fantastic. Like, I really cannot believe how much craziness has happened in the past few races in the sport. And it's this week in particular, and the way this ended at the very end is genuinely one of the most remarkable things I've seen watching live sports in my entire life. And it's just a great time to be getting into the sport.
This season it stands out among all of the F1 seasons. So, you know, I've been watching, I don't know, for maybe 10 or 15 years. And almost every year, the winner is decided before the end of the season. They've got enough points. You rack up points by, you know, your places throughout the season. And the winner is usually crowned a race or 2 or 3 before the end. And even if it's the last race, generally that person still has a big lead and they don't really have to finish first. Today, they came in exactly tied on points. Throughout the year, they've been sort of switching places. Lewis was ahead, and then Max was ahead, and then Lewis caught back up in points to be tied today. It didn't seem like he had any hope about a month ago, and then because of his wins in the past few races, he was able to put himself back right there in contention, and then to be able to get ahead in the race and then have it all come back crashing down on him because of something that was totally out of his control was just an incredible thing. There was a ton of confusion. They give you like a microphone into the like a mic'd up into the race director, the person who kind of controls everything, and you could hear him say, "Okay, we're going to do it, you know, this way," which meant Lewis was going to have basically a guaranteed victory because there would have been a bunch of cars in between, and then maybe 30 seconds later, all those cars that were in between the first and second guy were let by, and so they got out of the way. So then you had the first and second place guys right on top of each other to start this last final lap of the race. And because Max had better tires on, he was able to just squeeze by, take off, and Lewis couldn't catch him. It was just, everyone was confused. I'm buzzing. I was just texting Mike like, that was insane. I don't know. Like, I thought last week was insane at Saudi Arabia. This was incredible. What a weird, strange, but like fitting way to finish this season.
I got to say, watching you guys talk about this reminds me of traveling abroad and seeing like a movie that you know very well, like Home Alone or something, but it's in Portuguese and you don't speak a word of Portuguese. So you're just like looking like, hey, there's Macaulay Culkin moving his mouth. Don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm. I had friends in college who like all spoke Spanish, and I'd hang out with them and it'd be like 5-6 people all drinking, speaking Spanish. And I'm just kind of sitting there just, yeah.
La di da.
Sure. ¿Qué?
I'm glad the World Series of Cricket was great. Was that what you guys were talking about?
All right, so we're going to move on. 2021 Confidently Wrong Awards. I thought it'd be a great way to finish up the year, the calendar year. The Game Awards, which apparently are a legitimate awards show. I've never heard of them before. We'll discuss more about the Game Awards in the next pod, but for now, we're going to do our own spin on this. This is going to be the Confidently Wrong Awards, or the CWAs, if you please. And of course, we can't just do normal awards like Best Movie or Best Actor in a Comedy Series. We had to put our own CW spin on it. So without further ado, here are the CWAs. The first one is the Most Confidently Wrong Award, which it's going to who amongst us has had the wrongest take, but did so with extreme confidence. Mike, you're going to award the first one here of the Confidently Wrong Award.
So when I was thinking about this, I thought about not just how wrong you are, not just how passionate you are, but the larger cultural impact this specific incidence of confidently wrongness has. A lot of what I've been loving about Halo and what has been cool is that it's very much like embedded in the zeitgeist right now. Like everybody's talking about it. Like it's such a throwback, all of that. It's had a massive impact. Luckily, we have a lot of friends of the show, folks that listen to the show, support the show. We obviously appreciate all of them. And in talking to people, I have never gotten close to the reaction I've gotten to Savon unplugging everything in his house every time he leaves the house. And it's not even particularly close. And there's been a lot of bits a lot of people have really liked, but that has genuinely blown people's mind. And it's not just that you're doing that, but just thinking about the time you've spent in your life unplugging all of your stuff before you leave your house. And we were literally talking about this at the race, Savon. And the concern, I know you're trying to save money, but we're all concerned because the time you are losing in your life is not worth the pennies you are saving in this so-called passive power. One day when our bag comes in, we'll get an electrical engineer on the show. We'll put this to rest once and for all. But the fact that you are wasting your precious time, and I know how hard you work, Savon. Like, I know how intentional you are with your free time. These minutes are going to be adding up, dude, for saving you probably dollars across your whole life. I really just got to go with Unplug Gate. And I just wish for a better future for you.
You and your friends just sat in a circle and were crap talking me unplugging
No,
stuff.
we're not crap talking you. We're saying we're concerned for you. We all care about you and your time.
Get ready for the intervention.
Who was even upset by this?
No, not
Everybody.
upset. Just mind blown. Just mind blown.
You saw our looks of shock last week when you said you unplug everything before you step out the house.
I
bro.
feel like you have underestimated how alien this is to literally everyone that's heard this.
I'm just looking in my living room right now and I'm like, dude, it's not that much stuff. Some stuff is hooked to a power strip, so unplug the strip. That's like full things right off the bat.
To be fair, there was someone else at the race who did say that she grew up in a household where you unplugged everything. So you weren't completely alone. But out of like 9 people.
Yeah, look, let me just super quick defend myself. Half my stuff is in a strip.
Yeah, what is this?
And if I just unplug the strip, that's everything unplugged. When I come home and I plug it in, I'm good. So beyond that, that's my TV, PC, PlayStation, and then like 3 lamps. It's not that much stuff. I don't live in a mansion. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Like,
I love that your acceptance speech for this award is you digging in your heels.
This is a defense.
why would I'm not gonna. I'll have to change because
I wish I was a lamp now. All right. Brian, you've got the second Most Confidently Wrong award to give out here. Who does it go to?
Just to reframe these awards, right? So that's sort of like the confidently wrong in terms of life, and this is confidently wrong award in terms of geek culture takes. And again, it goes to our friend Savon Jones.
Hey,
for your take
winner.
on Loki, and you thought it was mid-tier, low-tier MCU,
Mid-tier.
worse than The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when in fact everyone knows that Loki is top 2, maybe top 1 best MCU TV show and top 10 in the MCU. Loki was great, my friend. You are confidently wrong.
Loki wasn't that good. It wasn't bad.
And you've gotten colder on it too, huh?
Yeah, Loki. Yeah, Loki actually was pretty solid for me at first, and then as I finished Loki, and I rewatched a few episodes kind of just on my own to make sure I'm not tripping. Loki's gotten worse for me as time
that's
passed.
what I appreciate about Savon. Who else would not like something and then rewatch it just to confirm that he doesn't like it?
Maybe I was tripping. Like,
I'm not. I love that. I would never do that. I would give up halfway through the show and be like, whatever. But you are so committed to your opinion that you even second guessed yourself and still confirm that you didn't like it.
Yes.
I just didn't like
Like, who else could this award go to?
I just didn't
That's
like
why you
Sylvie.
won it.
This podcast is going to be as long as the actual Academy Awards if we keep going this way, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We should have been playing music off.
All right, the next Confidently Wrong, the 2021 Confidently Wrong Award is the Biggest Surprise of the Year Award. Brian, our friend, is back to present this award.
So the biggest surprise of this year is that we are getting so much abundance, and I'm not even over it yet. I've had 3 COVID shots this year. I've watched
Not the kind of abundance we want here.
or there's 4 MCU movies. I've watched 3 or 4. There have been 5 MCU TV shows. Abundance is the key theme of this year. I'm not over any of this stuff yet, and I'm welcome for more. Give me more COVID shots. Give me more Marvel. More is more. And we're going into 22. Like, I thought at the beginning of this year I would be like dead from all this stuff, but keep it coming. Keep it coming. Feed me. Feed the beast.
Didn't expect to hear that from you, bro.
I think we're all just giving in to the societal implosion and just like, let's just fill the hole in our soul with mindless content.
It's like that Wu-Tang skit. It's just like staple my butt cheeks together and just keep feeding me.
What an image. What an image. All right, the next award is the Biggest Disappointment of the Year Award. Mike.
Do I really need to say?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm surprised that when we were talking about this in the beginning of the show, you were surprised. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised, but it's got to be Battlefield 2042. I'm not going to curse. I'm not going to rant. I'm feeling pretty calm.
It's pretty off-brand.
I think I've gotten it all out. The
All right.
Saints are going to be playing in like 20 minutes, and then I'll be geared up for whatever we're talking about. I knew it was going to be bad. I knew it wasn't going to be finished. The extent, and there's actually been a pretty cool report that came out in the past couple weeks specifically detailing what went wrong. Essentially, they wanted the game to be a battle royale, which makes sense with like the specialists and the giant maps and all of that. And then they pivoted back to regular Battlefield, and obviously that didn't work. My biggest disappointment is the level of fundamental flaws within the game. It's not just unfinished, but the capitalism not only rushed out a broken game, but they completely changed what kind of the franchise is, and it makes me a very sad panda. But Halo is pretty much filling the gap, so I kind of don't care. Screw EA. Look at me censoring myself. And I'm over it. I was also looking, Cyberpunk came out in 2020, right at the very end, because that was going to be my answer. But I guess my pandemic time is kind of just messed up.
I repressed that game like a bad experience, bro.
Again, you played through the whole thing, too.
Oh, yeah, I finished it.
See? Consistent.
And multiple endings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went back.
And went back.
I saved the game and played
Just to
through
con-
and
just
did
to
not
Who
like
confirm.
it.
else? Like,
He didn't
who
like
else? The journalistic integrity here.
Well, I'm getting mad thinking back about that game. Oof, I'm getting a headache.
Next award, Best Reason to Never Go Outside. I get to present this award. You would think it would be an entire world of pandemic in which millions of people have died, but that's not.
To be fair,
the
though, which
reason.
state do you live in?
I do live in the great, ironically,
Ironically great.
Republic of Texas. I do live in a supposedly liberal bastion, but let me tell you, people are not wearing masks at the grocery store anymore, guys. That is done. In restaurants, no masks. We're done with that apparently here in Austin, Texas. So the best reason to never go outside, you would think it would be this extremely communicable disease that has killed many people across the world and is now developing different mutations. But no, it's not that, actually. It's just having a baby. When you have a baby, you never go outside. The baby needs something pretty much every 2 hours for sure. They need to feed and or they need to have their diaper changed. And often they need lots of times in between where you need to do things with them, take care of them, meet their needs because they're completely helpless and useless. And, and then there's just thousands of minutes of cute time where you just get to hold them and like talk to them and read to them and watch them do incredibly easy things like look. I'm serious, guys. I've celebrated the baby looking. I went on a walk the other day, so I did go outside for, like 20 minutes with the baby. And the baby is looking, and I'm like, I got to take a video. I got to take a video of this baby using her eyeballs to look around, not at anything in particular, just looking. So that's the low bar of expectations that I now have for this baby human. And it's been wonderful. It's been great. But you never go outside. I probably changed to 14 shades of pasty white compared to where I was pre-baby.
Tell your friends about our show so Wesley's daughter doesn't have to have a job in the future.
And he can just keep watching her.
Right.
Heiress to the confidently wrong media enterprise.
Oh, God. Wes, nothing's more beautifully on brand.
What's on brand?
No, you being excited about your daughter using her eyes and looking around, but also describing her as useless. The dichotomy of man.
Yeah, like the same way Wesley wants to like rush through games and movies and stuff. He's trying to rush through his like daughter's development. Like when do we get to the end here? Like, come on now.
Like, all right, it's 6 months. Why are you not crawling?
This is not moving fast enough for me.
When can you tell me funny jokes? Like, when is the payoff here, guys? I just want to be entertained. Please entertain me. All right.
You got to enjoy Nugget mode. Enjoy Nugget.
She is a very little nugget. All right. Worst reason to go outside award. Savon, you're presenting this one.
Yeah, man, keep it a buck. I'm just starting to realize that unless you live in basically LA,
San Diego,
weather just sucks in general. Like, I'm just starting to realize that. It's like it's going to suck in some capacity. I already had my rant about the weather here and how it's cold, but I got to experience how obnoxious strong winds are. We had like 20-mile winds the other day to the point where I had my window cracked when I went shopping. When I came back, I literally couldn't open my apartment door because of like the draft and had to throw my body into the door. The draft made one of my lamps flip off a thing and smash. I'm just like, dude, I can't do this.
You broke into your own apartment?
Basically, because the wind literally locked me out. If you go, we left Louisiana and it's like, okay, there you go out in the middle of the night, you just break out into sweats and at literal midnight and you just lose a pint of blood to mosquitoes. You go other places and it's just always something. And then, I'm just starting to realize like, bro, unless you live in a really nice, just consistent 70 year round type place, nature sucks. There's no, you're just picking what level of suckage you want. Like, the hubris of people that live in the Northeast with the snow, trash. The hubris of people that live in swamps with hurricanes and such, trash. The hubris of people that live in literal deserts where water, the thing you actually need, is a commodity,
it's just
trash. I'm like, dude, what are we doing here, man? Like, what's going on? I'm sick of it, bro. And even LA, you picking something else. You got to deal with like hippies and you're picking something, bro. Like,
I thought you were going to say traffic.
Or earthquakes.
Yeah, natural as that. Dude, I can't.
Or Laker fans.
Oh,
God.
Boo. We're amazing. we have all reasonable takes. We're reasonable expectations. We're very level-headed. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, I don't know, man.
I just like the take of you just don't like weather in general.
I like
reasonable.
weather.
Because most people are like, just kind of exist in the dichotomy of like, you have to either prefer cold weather or prefer hot weather. You have just broken the mold and just hate all weather.
It sucks. Like, weather is only good. It's only like, if you look at the full span of just weather conditions globally, there's only like 2 of them that are good. The rest are trash.
I like that he's
you made a top five.
You've discretized. What is it called when you like make something into
discretized.
separate
You discretized.
Yeah. That's sounds like you're just secreting eyeballs, but anyways, he's made them into discrete buckets of weather,
Yeah, weather just I don't know, man. Like weather just sucks more. It just sucks more often than it doesn't suck. It's just what it comes down to. I'd say maybe 15% of weather doesn't suck, and the rest is like, okay, we're staying inside today.
You
is a
might
very
also be
literal
predisposed to staying inside, though, my friend.
Nah, man, I like being outside. I like to go on my walks. Hey, remember when we worked together? I used to go on
Yeah,
walks
you
all the
did.
time. I love
Yeah,
outside. It just
true.
sucks more often
Touche.
than it doesn't.
Touche.
It's a very literal reason to not go outside. I like it. Weather. All right. Next award, the best new television show of the year. Brian, you're up first.
I think this is our first like real award. Like that you would see at comparable media outlets anyway. So I know what Mike is going to talk about. So that's going to get my honorable mention right here, as well as Invincible. We can't forget about Invincible. It came out earlier in the year. It came out of nowhere. Amazing show. Reservation Dogs, which I've mentioned before and what we're loving. But I'm going to use this as an opportunity to talk about a show that I haven't mentioned on the podcast. And that when I think about which shows was I actually really excited for from week to week, and it consistently delivered everything I needed in that moment. It's a Hulu show called Only Murders in the Building, starring really old guys Steve Martin and Martin Short, plus Selena Gomez, and is actually a very good whodunit murder mystery TV show. And it's hilarious, and it's also kind of cute and charming in a weird, what I've read is called Uncle Core kind of way, as opposed to Dad Core. Steve Martin, Martin Short, they're still hilarious. I loved them when I was a little kid watching Three Amigos back in the 80s or 90s or whatever, and they're still funny in 2021. And this is a great show because it combines humor and true crime and a great murder mystery, and it's fantastic.
Check it out on Hulu. Mike, you're up. You've got the second best new television show award of the year.
So I'm kind of going to be more passionate about my honorable mention, and I'll talk about why. But I think if we're just looking at the calendar year 2021, year of our Lord, I got to go with White Lotus. Shorter show, mini series, but in terms of just the quality of everything in that show, the acting, the story, the way it's shot, was definitely probably my favorite show, the most entertaining show. I think the show that kind of had the biggest impact on me. I had to watch the whole thing through my fingers, essentially, particularly at the end. So I think if we're just looking at the calendar year, White Lotus, pretty far ahead. My understanding of the way most kind of award shows work is they can't really follow the calendar year, right? Because then otherwise you might be missing people in between your show and the end of the calendar year. So there's one show I want to talk about that came out at the end of last year. And so I'm just going to assume that best new television show for the time period this show has been a thing. It's
He just made up his own rules to this. I don't know how.
Okay.
I think
How does
we
that
were
work?
all just thinking calendar
This
year.
show is good enough that it warrants that, and its second season has just come out. Brian probably knows what I'm talking about, and it is the best show on television right now, and that's How To with John Wilson.
I thought he was going to say Succession.
No,
Hey,
I
that's
actually was
season
kind of
3,
cold on
buddy.
Succession
That's
season
season
3. How To with John Wilson is unlike, maybe it's kind of like Nathan For You, but in truly what he does, find me another show similar. And it's not just how interesting the show is, it's that wherever this man goes, doom follows. It's in this particular season, it's even crazier the situation he gets himself into and then just rolls with it. It hits all the funny, entertaining, genuinely clever, but the way he hits sincerity in that show without being too self-serious is just mind-blowing. The ridiculous situations he gets himself to. It almost the one thing that would be similar, and we probably should have done a question like best web show or something, is Channel 5, formerly known as All Gas No Breaks. I think a lot of, I can't remember what the channel is, but like the Bing Bong thing y'all all love, like really getting a
Side
look
talk.
at people kind of across the larger social spectrum that you might not really understand
Side
are
Talk
there.
is such a good show.
Yeah,
I think
shout out to
Side Talk
Side
does a
Talk.
really funny way like All Gas No Breaks is kind of in the middle of really like learning about how people might think that you wouldn't really take the time to listen to. And John Wilson just goes fully on like you're going to go deep into the way this person who might have been marginalized, not just in like a socioeconomic sense, but like in a, like nobody would have listened to you or your story or who you actually are as a person. The show is marvelous. I really cannot get enough of it. And the fact that the second season has kept the quality up, the structure is the same, but it has a little bit more gravity to it. It's just completely mind-blowing. So honorable mention, How To with John Wilson. I've broken the rules and I don't feel bad about it.
Coincidentally, that show also wins the award for Wes's most underwhelming show of 2021 and 2020.
When we talk about a Brian, not Wes show, I mean, How To with John Wilson is just the pinnacle of that, which is really funny because you like Side Talk so much. But I guess that kind of makes sense on that larger
Side Talk is
spectrum
loud and in your face and entertaining, and it's 1 minute like of content.
That's Big Tent right there.
Yeah.
Side Talk!
Wes, I can't with you. This is hilarious.
Spider Cuz has some of the best Spider Talk episode or Side Talk episodes. But yeah, I mean, John Wilson, it just didn't do it. It's like someone just threw a bunch of their camcorder recordings. You know, it's like if you had to watch all the videos of my kid that I've taken and you were like, I don't get it. There's nothing happening here. Like literally nothing is happening. That's what John Wilson is, guys. So that's all. It's not for me.
What
I
a
understand
shame.
that you
What
think it's
a shame.
visionary in a
What a shame.
completely
I don't think it
erroneous
is,
way.
Wesley. I know it is.
I think your daughter has a lot to teach you about the world, man. And I can't wait for her
All right,
to
well.
open your eyes.
I'll assemble all of her clips, put it to some very stirring music, and send it to you guys and see if I can get my own HBO show.
The episode for you would be titled How to Appreciate the Little Things.
Is that actually an episode?
No, but it very well could be.
It's basically every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. How to appreciate scaffolding. The next episode, or the next award, the next award that we've got here is the best pandemic purchase of the year. Savon, what is your best pandemic purchase award? What does it go to this year?
Yeah. So I was gonna say my PS5, but that's kind of the low-hanging fruit easy question. And also, I want to give an answer that's maybe more accessible to the people at home. PS5.
He's just
Yeah, I
swerving
don't
last
have
minute
one.
here.
Yeah, you got to think, you got to pivot, sort. So I'm actually going to go with what I'm wearing right now, what we were talking about. I bought, as y'all know, with my robe love, I really love comfortable home loungewear. I'm very passionate about it. I actually did a presentation at work about my updated robes, Mike. I have to send it to you.
You did another one?
Yeah, I've
There's a
gotten more
part
robes.
two?
Yeah, put it for my new site. But yeah, I was buying coats over Thanksgiving break to, just be ready for the winter. And a place I went to had a Black Friday sale, and I saw something in the store that was literally a hoodie onesie. And the place is called Moose Jaw, and apparently up here they make really expensive, good winter gear. And yeah, it's basically what I'm wearing right now. It is a hoodie, very comfortable, like thick hoodie, none of that cheap fabric stuff. But it's also just a big full body onesie, and it's just amazing. It's comfortable, easy on the skin. You can move around with it, has a hood.
For those of you that missed it, he literally said he's wearing a onesie. My 2-month-old daughter wears onesies every single day. This grown man is wearing a onesie in his apartment in Detroit and in public, apparently.
And yeah, not just a grown man. Aren't you like 6'4" or something?
Y'all are not about to age
Bananas in
Grown
pajamas
and
here.
grown.
What is this? Yeah, point is, it's extremely comfortable. It's amazing for just, you're not going to really be going out, but you need to go pick up your Uber Eats order, go check the mail, go grab something from your local corner store. I highly recommend the best part, which is the big downfall of mini onesies. It's a full body zip that goes down to about your waist crotch area, but there's a bottom zipper that you can use when it's fully zipped up, so that if you need to, use the facilities or whatever reason, you can do so without having to, ladies, y'all know how it is. If you got your sundress on or something, sometimes you got to damn near get bum booty naked in order to handle your business in the facilities. This one kind of skirts that a little bit. So, it's comfortable, it's warm, it's stylish.
Wait, are you saying that if you got to drop a number 2,
nah, that you still might have to.
Okay.
But,
did you have the booty flap that you were talking about that one time?
No, this one doesn't have a booty flap on it.
Does this have feet? Does it have feet?
No, it doesn't have feet. So you still have to. Just imagine if sweatpants and a hoodie just was decide, hey, let's just make this official, and they connected at the hip. But yeah, it's a very simple thing. I highly recommend it. It's just really comfortable, and it's a great blend between like a blanket, a hoodie. It does a lot of things in one garment really well.
All right, well, we've put Mike to sleep, so let's go to the next award here. Same
Mike
one,
wears
best
comfies. I don't want to hear
pandemic
him.
purchase.
I'm not saying I don't. I would buy one of those in a heartbeat.
Best pandemic purchase, Brian. I don't know if you can top that.
I mean, I really can't top that, but I will say, I mean, this award is very much about having like a little bit of extra cash, which some of us have the luxury of to be in that position during this pandemic. And for me, the thing where I'm like, damn, I'm dropping this money. The Knicks going to the 2021 NBA playoffs for the first time in like forever and actually being competitive. And I spent money to go to that game 1, even though like people were just getting vaccinated and like filling up arenas was kind of weird, but whatever. It was the Knicks. Bing bong, motherfuckers. That was awesome. Worth like $300 or whatever it cost me.
Nice. Did you boo Trae Young?
Oh, hell yeah. And I actually like Trae Young.
Doesn't matter.
Can't cheer him at Madison Square Garden. That's not
Yeah. Yeah. Trae Young.
Yeah,
Get a new barber, Trae Young.
Bing bong.
Plus, he already smacked y'all, so like...
Hey, shut up.
If you ever have a chance to see the Knicks being good in MSG, as someone who's not a Knicks fan, it's just an incredible experience. Brian has probably been a billion times already to MSG, but it's
like
just,
the cute.
It's an incredible venue. The fans are just, they bring a ton of energy. The low ceiling means that it's loud when the game gets good. It's just, it's a super awesome time. Savon, if you ever get a chance, MSG, it's the place to be, man.
I mean, it's kind of, the buzz that you get from it is kind of like doing Edward 40 hands with, I don't know, like triple espresso over the course of 20 days, every day. Like,
I feel like
actual
only in New York is like the entire stadium like body shaming the guy, like hurling racial epithets, and people are like, yeah, you know, the fans really bring a lot of energy.
Right? Yeah, just like, oh, yeah, I guess that's one way to put it.
All right, next award. It's the best Marvel-is moment of 2021, a.k.a. the holy cow, I love Marvel moment. I'm not going to write what Brian wrote here for the subtitle there. Savon, you've got the first one of these.
Yeah, for me, it was those first 2-3 episodes of WandaVision. WandaVision was us really getting to dive into the MCU shows. It was our first content in game. A lot of the tone was going to really get set by this. And they went for a show that had a very unusual tone that people didn't know what was going on. Those first 2 episodes, when everything was in black and white and they were doing the I Love Lucy bit and no one knew what was going on, was so much collective fun. Everybody had theories. Everybody was like, what's going on? Does this relate to the comics? Is Mephisto happening? What's going on, right? And many theories were wrong. But so many theories also made valid points and were right. Even our conversations of, hey, what's going on, guys? People I know who weren't even that into Marvel were watching WandaVision like, this is really interesting. But so I just thought that was such a great tone shift, so creative. And then a lot of stuff starts off with a dope concept and there's not a lot of payoff. I thought the payoff to WandaVision, especially as they pulled back the curtain, was amazing. Very much a moment I was just like, yeah, the people behind this know what they're doing.
It's interesting you picked the first few episodes because those don't really kind of connect to anything in a larger way. That's just like laying the groundwork. So for me, obviously, like the thing I like about all the MCU stuff is just how it all connects. So it's interesting to me that you like the part that really kind of stood by itself and laid that ambiguous foundation almost.
It was just showing that they're relying on they're going to lean into being creative with cool ideas, not just, hey, let's connect it to something else to get people's eyes on it. It's a good sign.
We're lucky enough to have multiple or a great, trophy making system here, and we're got to make another one here. So Brian, you get to award another of the same award. Best marvelous moment.
The moment that got my jaw to the floor and I was just like, yes, give me more Marvel. The second to last episode of Loki, when after we've met all the other variant Lokis who are giving our variant Loki a lot of grief for thinking he can, change the outcome of things. And we got classic Loki wearing green tights and the gold overlay and helmet and whatever, and he's like in his 60s, and he's so callous but hilarious at the same time. But by the end of the episode, he steps up to help our Loki and Sylvie and creates and conjures up an enormous vision or apparition of Asgard, an illusion of Asgard that is as epic and monumental as the real Asgard, and occupies a place in the arc of that whole series that is also monumental, and lures away the smoke monster or whatever, so Sylvie and our variant Loki can get away. And you got the music swirling and the beautiful cinematography and all the art direction. That show just looked incredible. And then seeing Asgard just rise up out of nowhere, just like peak Marvel moment. Fantastic.
Hard agree,
It was
bro.
glorious.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Hard agree. You don't even like the show.
Okay, I can still appreciate quality moments. That was one of the best MCU moments ever, dude. He was like waving his hands, summoning the thing. I'm with Brian, bro. I lost my mind at that.
I do not understand you. I mean, I do, but I don't.
All right, the next award. This one's a biggie. This one's a real one. Best video game of the year. Everyone gets to give out at least one award here. The rules are, there are no rules. Best video game. Brian, you're actually going to lead us off here.
I talked about Outer Wilds before during What We're Loving, and how, to me, this is kind of like a game of generation. That came out in 2019. This past September, the DLC, the one and only DLC for the game, came out, called Echoes of the Eye, and that actually is the game of the year. Can you believe that? A DLC. It is so good. It actually takes almost nearly as long to complete the DLC as the base game. It completely flips gameplay mechanisms that are used in the base game, introduces a whole bunch of new mechanisms, but does it all non-verbally, introduces a whole new race of aliens that you're studying in the game, and just tightens up all the things that made the base game great into like this beautiful package of a DLC. Like all the puzzles are tight, all the big moments are crazy. I literally yelled multiple times at various discoveries and different points of the game, like, oh my god, like those kind of moments. You live for those moments, and the DLC delivered. So that is my game of the year.
That is a hot take. A DLC taking home Brian's video game of the year award. Savon, what is your video game of the year?
All right, so before I upset people, just let you know, for me, game of the year doesn't matter if it came out that year. It's just what have I been playing this year? What has engaged
here we go
me?
with the rules.
How come
again.
I get shit on for not following the rules, and this
'Cause
guy
Wes
gets
said
to
there's
pick
no
like
rules.
a 4-year-old game?
Because Wes said there's no rules. He said it. Check the receipts.
Savon only plays 4 games.
Not true. I've played other games.
Savon plays 4 games. He plays Apex
GTA.
Legends. He plays
Apex.
no. There's a rule. There's rules to this because Savon is a man who follows his own rules. And the game is either Apex Legends, Warframe. It has to be made by Rockstar. Damn, what's the 4th one? Oh
2K.
my god. Oh, or 2K.
It involves
God damn it. You
basketball.
see, I've been up since 7 a.m., so not as sharp. But yeah, Those are the
He
only four
says 7
things
a.m.
Savon's
like that's
with.
like really early.
Right,
Like, this man
right,
gets
like,
up at 7
okay.
a.m. on the regular.
I work at a
It's
tech company,
absolutely
dude.
early.
Like, I do not work in schools. Like, yeah, Brian,
Oh, okay.
Right, what?
back me up here.
I mean, like we get up at what, like 6:30, 6
We at
o'clock?
school for 7.
Y'all are built different. That was me at a point. It is no longer me. Like, getting up before
All right.
very close to 8 a.m. is a nightmare.
Look,
I think that's inhumane to be up before 9 p.m., honestly. Or
Look,
9 a.m.
my game of the year is Apex Legends because it's fun. And also for me, I didn't start playing Apex for real until a year ago when COD just became unplayable. So, it's not like I've been playing this game for years. But yeah, it's one of the most consistently fun games I have. It engages me. For me, what I value most in the game is what do I want to keep playing it? So I like a good single player, but if I just play it once and then I'm never going to touch it again, that's hard for me to put that in game of the year category. So for me, replay value is always what I put at the top of the list, and Apex has just comfortably become my favorite and game I put the most time into. And if I'm playing it more than anything else, how can I not say that's my game of the year? It doesn't feel right to me.
Well, because it didn't come out this year, but that's
It
fine.
can still be game of the year. You can be MVP
It's
outside
like
the year
I
you were
eat
drafted.
cereal every morning, so that has to be my favorite food.
Look, my logic is LeBron could be in the league for years and someone else could be a new guy, but the track record of consistency matters. And so you can still be MVP even if you've been around for a while. That's how I look at it.
I like that your metric is just minutes played. Like, if that were the criteria that people were using most often, like one of our friends, like his game of the year is Minesweeper. Like, come on, no.
I think
Crosswords.
that's a valid. I think if solitaire is the game that engages you more than anything else, that's a valid game of the year. I mean, I stand by that. All my favorite games it's because I've put time into them. Skyrim, GTA, 2K, whatever.
It's a perspective.
It's a thought out opinion. Don't agree with it, but
The foundation,
always,
right? The
Holla,
structure
holla.
above it is sound. The foundation, suspect. All right. My game of the year, and I think part of this is I haven't played a ton of games this year. I like Savon. Similar to Savon. I mean, I do like Savon, but what I was trying to say was similar to Savon. I play a bunch of Apex, and that's the game I play the most. And so it's hard for me to say, like, of the 30 games that came out this year, which one is the best. I didn't play Deathloop. I didn't play a whole bunch of games that came out. So
good thing we're on a game
I know,
critiquing podcast.
hey, we don't have to be well informed all the time.
I don't have a PS5 mic. What am I supposed to do?
My game of the year has to go, and I'm staying with calendar year 2021 releases, was Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart. I hadn't played a Ratchet and Clank game before. I just thought the whimsy of it, the fun of it, the heart of it, the emotions that the game had, the gameplay, the different puzzles you had to solve, the different mechanics that they introduced, making use of the next gen equipment, including the DualSense, having different ways in which you interacted with the controller, the story, the collectibles, having these side quests. For me, I just thought that game knocked it out the park on what it was trying to do. It was completely engaging. I loved that game. It was beautiful. I played it twice. The second time I went through it to make sure I got all of the little collectibles. You could get different costumes for Ratchet and for what's the other one? Wrench. That's not her name.
It's not Clank.
Yeah, I was going to say Clank.
Oh, what is it?
Rivet. That game did it for me. I think it ticked all the boxes. I think if an open world exploratory game like Red Dead is more your speed, Ratchet and Clank may not have been your game of the year, but I think for what it was trying to do as an action adventure game, it was just really, really well done. And to come so early in the life cycle of the PS5, I think that's extremely commendable how they did that and made use of the hardware to get the fast travel going, to get you to teleport to different places. It was just a really, really, really fun and engaging game to play. So that wins my game of the year.
Would you play Ratchet and Clank again?
He did. He played it twice.
Yeah, I played it twice.
Would he play it a third time?
Yeah, I don't think I would play it again. Yeah.
Fair.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not still the best game for me that came out this year. I don't always look for replay value. I don't necessarily have time or interest in playing games over and over again. All right.
You barely have interest in doing things one time.
This is kind of true. Mike, you've got the last award for best video game. Who is it going to, or what is it going to?
I think the Game Awards the other night really, we've talked a lot recently about how there haven't really been crazy good games this year, and it's kind of been the consoles carrying the weight of making older games feel better. I know we're going to talk about that in the next episode. So I kind of don't really feel particularly passionate about anything. I was also like...
You could not give the award. You could give it to blank.
I'm going to give it to something,
abstain.
And I kind of set this up earlier. I was reading, I forgot, the winner last year. Again, my sense of time is completely messed up. Last of Us 2 was the Game Awards Best Game of the Year. And it's just crazy to have gone from literally my favorite game of all time, period, to just... I can barely pick anything. I got to go with Halo. Again,
really?
Solely because it just feels like it's had an impact on a bit of a different level in terms of reigniting the passion a lot of older Halo fans have, which has been something that's been really cool for me to experience firsthand as someone getting into the franchise for the first time. I think between that, the campaign, which is really cool, it's pretty different. It's, they had the month of the beta multiplayer, which obviously became a big thing and got a lot of people into it, got me to go out and buy an Xbox. And then they released the campaign, which seems people are equally as interested. And a lot of people that were playing the multiplayer with pretty consistently are now just really into the campaign. So I think all of that, but at the core of it, it's also just very fun. Savon, you've played a ton of Apex. Wesley, the amount of Apex you've played makes Savon's, time look like nothing. So I don't really have, I played that game for a while. I couldn't really keep the longevity there. So it is nice to have something, I can have late night game sessions with friends, laughing, screwing around, all that type of stuff. So it has been kind of fun for Halo to make me feel something, as opposed to the general just numbness of starting and not finishing games.
What Mike is saying is that he's not good enough in Apex Legends and he gets frustrated and quit. That's what happens.
That is so not what I'm saying.
I don't know. That's what I heard.
I heard he couldn't hang.
Oh my God. I can get on it today and I'll do fine.
It's okay. No, play your Halo, bro. Do your thing.
Wow.
All right. Mike, do you want to do the next award or should we skip it for time?
No, we'll do it very briefly, just because I feel like we need to give our listeners a view into what our relationship, all of our relationships are like.
All right, the next award, Mike. Do you want to just tell it what it is and explain what criteria you used here?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any criteria needed for this one.
No, there's criteria. Wesley is someone. People say someone's not short of words or whatever. Wesley's not short of texts. You give the man anything and you have an essay on your phone within 35 seconds. It's remarkable. You must have the strongest thumbs in the world, dude.
I swipe. I use the swipe keyboard. That's the key.
So the question, and you wrote this. I didn't write this,
I did.
so don't anyone be like, "Oh, you mean blah blah blah."
No.
It was most annoying text from Wesley, but I'm gonna go with most annoying theme of text from Wesley.
He couldn't
Do
pick
you
just
have
one.
a lot of other friends that enjoy Formula One?
No,
Mr. Nakamura. So
how many people
because of
enjoy
that,
Formula One?
So there are
There's
4,
10 people in the whole nation.
Okay, when it comes to games or movies,
Half of them are here.
it gets distributed amongst the three of us here.
Yeah.
Anything Formula One goes directly to me.
Brian and Savon don't care about it.
Right off the bat, there's a funnel. No, it's fine. And what I will give you credit for is Wesley is liked the sport a lot more than longer than I have. He knows a lot more about the kind of the intricacies behind competition in Formula One. I, if nothing else, am confidently wrong, so I do like to have some opinions about Formula One. I'll just say something off the cuff to Wesley, and because I'm not a big Lewis Hamilton fan, I will get a legal document breaking down exactly why I am wrong, exactly why this situation is the way it is, and he'll even go back, he'll refute himself, and then refute that refutation. I could just scroll and I'll be
maybe I need to go to law school.
Today I was freaked out watching this race. And do you know how when someone texts, it puts all the bubbles together, and then when they stop, there's a little gap, and then if they keep texting again, there's more. There were 20 different little gaps with each like chunks, and I was like, I can barely like stand up right now, and like Wesley has like pretty well broken down everything that's happening in the situation. So maybe, you know, when our media company takes off, you can start live tweeting F1 races, because right now it's just going only to me.
You're welcome.
So and it's not annoying because, you know, we could just not respond, but if this was, you know, when y'all were growing up and you had limited text messages and you were paying 5 cents per text message, you'd have to be wiring me a couple $100 a month.
Quality burn.
Do you remember when you had to pay for text? I refused to pay for text. I would never text anybody, and if people texted me, I would just not respond. Just like I can't
how
afford
the
the 5
tables
cents.
have turned.
Remember when minutes was free after like 9 o'clock? You had to wait for people to call after.
Or like friends and family. You had the friends and family.
Friends and family
the same
plan.
network, right? If you were on AT&T and they were on AT&T, you got
When Singular was the thing back
oh
then.
man,
My mom used to say, "Who are your friends? Have them text you."
Problem.
go ahead,
That
Brian.
like conditioned me not to text people back when like you had to pay for text, and that persists till today. I love how Wes just did a complete 180. He's like, "It's free. I'm gonna do it all the time."
And it's up to you. If you
what
don't
is
want
the
to
ratio
respond,
between Wes
you know,
and
Yeah,
Mike's
Wesley
text?
feels like he's losing money by not texting people.
That's beautiful.
I mean, honestly, I think of it like if I send it and you don't respond, it's fine. Like it doesn't, you know.
Oh my God.
Clearly it
Use
doesn't
Twitter.
bother you because it doesn't stop you.
If someone wanted to respond, they would, you know. And, it's fine. But figure, I think I have something interesting to say, so I'll say it.
I'm not saying it's not interesting. It's just like on a level I can't perceive, particularly with F1.
Just very on brand.
Brian is just like, don't ever text me again, Wesley, right now with his face. It's fine. We're not, you know, we're friends. It's fine. All right.
Brian's like, I had him for like 10 years. Y'all can handle it.
Me and Brian literally have a friend who we text him and he never responds. Just absolutely. He's responded 3 times in the past 3 years to any of our texts that we send, either personally, like just to him, or to the group.
We will
It's-
all caps
it's
his
fascinating.
name in
Yeah.
text. Like it's sequentially, like it's 4 of us in a text chat. 3 of us will all say, "Hey, you, James, 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 James."
Nothing.
Do you
Absolutely.
think he
nothing.
reads them?
Absolutely not.
No,
okay,
we're
well.
silenced
Yeah,
for sure.
God, his
For sure.
notifications have to be insane, no.
But he doesn't cop to this. We've asked him about it, and he says, "Oh no, you know, it's just been busy, and then like I go hiking and I don't really get good signal, and then by the time I come back, you know, it's kind of the moment has passed, so I don't respond." Like he has not at all admitted that he's got a silence and like does not participate in any sort of way. It's really funny. He maintains the air of like, you know, maybe one day I'll come back. He's never coming back.
Milk and cigarettes.
But
He
we don't
actually
take him.
says
We don't take him off the chain at all. He's still there. All right. Next award. The best confidently wrong rant of the year. And there were many to choose from, but mostly just from one person. So I get to give this award. And there was a hilarious, entertaining rant from Mike a couple episodes about Battlefield and EA and just their greed and capitalism. I threw one in a few months ago about complaining about plumbing repairs. Mike completely took a poop on Tesla and anybody who enjoys Tesla, and me for even talking about Tesla as something that might be modestly interesting.
Oh my God.
Savon,
That shout out friends of the show, Alan and Richard. There, that's dripped down from them.
Savon took a minute to hate on teams named after years.
Yeah.
The 49ers are not a legitimate team, apparently, because they named their team after a year.
Same with the Sixers.
Yeah, also fall into that. But those are not winners. Those are just honorable mentions for rant of the year. The honorable mention of the year, and I broke my own rules here. This actually comes at the very end of 2020, but it was so good. And it was Mike complaining about the Apple AirPods Max and how horrible they are and how they didn't make sense in any type of way for Apple
Do
structure.
you see them anywhere? I've never seen one.
I don't think I've ever seen them in real life.
I've seen
seen
one
one.
kid at school.
Really?
have
I was
them.
going to
Yeah.
ask you, Brian, like, are people walking around Brooklyn with them? I feel like some
Oh
tech pro
hell
would be.
no.
See,
No.
see,
The one
I don't
person I
miss.
saw-
I told you they were stupid.
One person I saw, probably a rich Asian tourist in Las Vegas.
And
in
how
Vegas?
many?
It wasn't
even
How
in
many
New York.
people? How many people have you seen wearing Beats this year?
Not that
Actually,
many,
At least,
though.
none.
at least more.
More,
Really,
yeah, for sure.
zero. You haven't seen a Savon's got Beats
people aren't
literally
rocking their
right
Beats
here.
anymore.
AirPods. It's
Okay.
100% AirPods out there nowadays.
Okay,
guys.
but the question should have been: have you seen more people wearing Beats?
Yeah.
Yes.
My particular enjoyable moment from that particular rant was when we talked about Beats being useful and Mike just like cannot contain himself and just starts railing on the fact that Apple actually owns Beats now and is just cannibalizing their own business. I'll include that clip in here. It was chef's kiss. I just could not stop laughing. I've listened to that episode multiple times.
So, I got my Beat Studios, and like I'm just
They
very
own
skep-
Beats. They own
Yeah,
Beats.
why aren't these
They
Beats?
own Beats.
It
Why
makes
are
no
you making a
sense.
competitor to your own product?
Yeah, and the thing is, my Beats are
I'm
like
worked
mad
up
compatible
right
with my phone.
That was funny, bro.
They
Acerbic,
own Beats.
perhaps.
They own Beats. He's just yelling into the ether about this idea. Next one. We're almost done here. This really is the Academy Awards, guys. It's going on. The people at home,
We
I
put a
don't
lot of
apologize.
categories, bro.
I think this is amazing. This is the content that they come back for, guys. All right. This is kind of an award. I'm not sure. We'll see if Savon can frame it as an award. He's going to present this one. This is the Best Hope for the DC Cinematic Universe Award. Savon, take it away.
Yeah, so the hope for them is pretty straightforward. They've done a solid job of their individual released movies. I thought Man of Steel was a pretty good movie. Aquaman isn't my favorite movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it did a lot of things right. I thought Wonder Woman was an entertaining movie that did a lot of things right.
The
Not
first
the
one,
second
right?
one.
Yeah,
Second
the
was
first one.
terrible.
The first one. The Suicide Squad, the reboot, right? Like they've
Yeah,
shown
not the first one.
Yeah, they've shown the capacity though to put out quality movies that are entertaining. Like they've shown that they can do that. It's just a matter of, hey, you got to let it breathe and be organic. So focus on making good individual release movies, and then you can try and tie it all together. But if they decide to go this route of we're going to try and keep forcing all these characters into each other before we've even established them, then it's going to keep being mediocre. But it's not a coincidence that a lot of their better movies were the ones that didn't try to force crossovers. Like that is not a coincidence. So we'll see. Like I have high hopes for them in terms of what they could do. Like I think them branching into the TV shows is a solid way to develop some of their other characters. I think that's a good directional step. But other than that, I don't know. Like it still feels like they're not gonna just try and do a reboot with the Justice League characters. So I don't know what they can do. It kind of feels like the sunken cost fallacy of, do you want to start over or keep trying to make this thing work that just at this stage in time, it's just like, yo, that ship has sailed. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So, keep making good individual movies for now is their best route because they have shown that they can do so.
So that was more white paper than award, but I like it. Brian, did you have something?
It just reminds me of like a mediocre NBA team. It's like, do we blow it up? Do we blow it up? Do we tank?
Pacers. They're the DC is the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, should the DC cinematic universe tank?
Pelicans should definitely tank this.
I think they should just develop their young talent. They have some decent foundational pieces. You don't have to blow it up because it still might suck, but develop what you have and see if you can grow it into something organic. Go the Suns route is what I'm saying. And then maybe if you're not crappy, you'll get a star to make a really good movie, and then suddenly your franchises are relevant again.
Could be the Batman. We'll see.
Maybe.
But even all that, like the Joker, the Batman, those were good movies, but they're not connected to a larger cinematic universe, so it's kind of, they've almost abandoned it in that way.
So I put this in the notes. You can always retcon that later, dude. They literally retconned Iron Man so that the little kid was Spider-Man. Like, you can retcon whatever the hell you want to make those connections that previously weren't there. But Wes, I see your face. The first Spider-Man movie, Peter Parker is the little kid who almost gets killed in Iron Man 2 by the drones. They established that was Spider-Man as a kid. Clearly, they didn't do that. That wasn't their plans originally. So, you can retcon stuff later down the line. You can edit it. That's cool. For now, just make sure your movies don't suck.
I don't remember that moment at all. But I also have a crappy memory, so that's kind of par for the course.
Maybe it's
Fair
because the only way you consume things is by binging them. It's like, I
His
don't
words,
even
not
remember
mine.
if I liked that donut or not. I ate 8 of them.
Was it good? Mm-hmm.
It was good at the
It
time.
must have been.
My brain my brain has a very specific way of storing things away, and it doesn't store a whole lot. It's very selective, and the things I remember very well. Beyond that, just it's a complete, I mean, I got to go back. So I've been off on parental leave for a couple months here. I got to go back to work in January. Yo, do you know how many of the kids' names I've just completely forgotten? Like I looked back at like my seating chart of like where my kids are. I'm like, I don't remember this kid. I have no idea who they are. I have no idea what their face is, what they look like in a mask. Like I'm just gonna go up and they're gonna be like, "What's up, Mr. Nakamura? Welcome back." And I'm gonna be like, "Hey, kid, I saw every day for 3 months straight, and I have no idea who you are. I'm sorry." It's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna have to like just lead with that and own it in January and be like, I literally forgot some of you. Sorry.
What a loving and caring teacher.
It's
The honesty,
just
bro. No,
not
kids like
that.
that.
I don't know. I wish it was.
Teacher of the year.
I know. I do. I care about the kids, but man, my brain just it is bad at stuff like that.
Wes,
All
I
right.
forget core members' names all the time, bro. They have name
But did you
tags.
see them every single day for 3 months? Without fail. It's bad. My memory is horrible. I remember some of them at least. But that's even worse, right? On some level, it's like, oh, I remember you because you were important, and like the kid that I don't remember, like, sorry, you were just kind of like generic.
These are your words, not ours.
All right, Mike. Anything happening? Have we gotten a result yet? Mike is furiously checking Twitter, I think.
Nothing yet.
Okay. All right. Best movie of the year. This is our biggie. Savon, lead us off. What
Honestly,
movie gets your award, bro?
Honestly, dude, I don't think I should give an answer for this one. I know people get mad when I say, oh, I don't watch movies. I don't think you understand how bad it is. I have seen 2 movies this year.
And you had to see both of them because we asked you to.
What
Well,
about
also, yeah.
watching at home?
Oh, you
Have
saw
only-
Suicide Squad. Oh,
3
go ahead.
movies.
Yeah, 3 movies. So, yeah.
Are you only counting in theaters, or are you just saying in general you've
In
only
general.
watched? That's absurd.
I just don't
That's
watch
so
movies,
weird.
period. It's just not
That's
my
so-
fault.
Not
that's
even
just
like
so
old
weird.
movies.
No.
That's not normal behavior.
I have only seen like 3 movies this year, and they were superhero movies, partially because of the plot, partially because that's the only kind of movies I actually watch. So I saw Shang-Chi, which was good. I saw Black Widow, which was entertaining. And then I saw The Suicide Squad, which was also entertaining. Beyond that, I haven't seen any movies this year. And as much as I love to upset people with some of my takes, I don't think I have enough of an informed opinion to give a movie of the year. So one of y'all go.
All right. Savon votes present. I'll go with the next one. Best movie for me. I was going to go with Sound of Metal, the Riz Ahmed show where he's a drummer and then he loses his hearing and goes
Did
through
that come out this year?
some trials. Well, that was the problem was I watched it this year and I thought it was released on Amazon Prime Video or whatever this year, but I went to look it up on IMDb. Turns out it was released in 2019, so I just completely missed it by 2 years.
Are you sure that wasn't like the festival release?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that was the festival release.
Well,
But I
Does it count
think
as
it
21
actually did
21
come out
movie?
in 2020. Anyway, you're late.
late,
Yeah.
right? So I couldn't pick that one because I was trying to stay in 2021. So I went with a completely different direction. My movie of the year, kind of in the vein of Ratchet and Clank, just a fun, feel good, great emotional story, Raya and the Last Dragon. I just thought it was a phenomenal movie. It was great. It had some super visuals. It was fun. Disney, I think, knocked it out of the park with that one. I think it probably doesn't get as much love as some of their other ones like Moana and, maybe some of their older classics and stuff. But I just thought they really did a good job with that one. And I thought it was terrific. I enjoyed it so much. So Raya and the Last Dragon, congratulations. You win Best Movie of the Year from Wesley Nakamura.
Great movie.
Pyrrhic
I'm
victory.
just gonna say what mine is, and then
Okay.
I'll let Brian, because Brian looks to agree. I'll let Brian kind of explain more because he's
Okay.
better at it. It's pretty obvious if you've been listening to the show the
Battlefield.
past few months. Yeah, the Battlefield cinematic with the guy that plays Omar. Can't remember his name.
Michael K.
Um,
Williams.
R.I.P. to a
R.I.P..
legend.
R.I.P..
Yeah, great actor. Forgot his name, but he's a good actor. I gotta go with Dune. And Brian, you can explain why.
Beautiful. It is a beautiful movie.
I love when Mike defers to me. I feel so good about myself.
Because
Watch me
you
flub this.
know stuff and how to articulate things, and I just kind of just whatever the opposite of acerbic is, I just gush. I just hype boy over shit. Sorry, BK.
I would like to point out though that Mike, like, in contrast to Savon, has not watched any of the movies for the podcast like we've asked him to. You have like not seen
What other movies?
You did not
didn't
see
see
Shang-Chi. You did not see
Okay,
Eternals.
yeah.
You did
true,
not watch Suicide
True.
Squad.
True.
Did you?
Wow, I'm really messing up.
Did you
here.
see Did you watch Black Widow?
I did watch Black Widow. I think I might have missed the pod though about Black Widow.
You did.
Great.
Yeah, so you're getting on my bumper. Hop on his
Look, I
bumper.
can't just go
Ew,
to the
man,
movies.
I'm not on anyone's
if I go,
bumper.
like I can't just go to the movies. Like my girlfriend is very pro COVID, so I
What does
Wait,
that
what?
even
She's
mean,
pro
dog?
COVID.
COVID safety.
not pro COVID. I guess anti COVID. But if I say anti COVID, then you think don't.
I feel like that's
Pro-vax,
still confusing.
Anti-COVID.
Safety first is what Mike is saying.
We all are unprepared in our own unique ways.
So for this award, Best Movie of 2021, I'm in agreement with Mike here, and this is partially because this is TBD. The year is not over, and I have not finished watching the slate of things that have come out at this last push of the year when they throw out all the Oscar award bait. So, I'm hopeful that The Power of the Dog and Licorice Pizza are really good movies, solid movies. But the movie for me that really made me thankful that I can step into a movie theater and experience a giant screen spectacle with full Dolby surround sound and be immersed in a whole world and forget where I am in the universe has to go to Dune Part 1. Which lived up to against all odds, hype that you don't think it could possibly be, as a sci-fi movie, as something that has come after all these other sci-fi epics. Dune kind of stands apart being just like this, such a great, thoughtful, well-crafted film. From the performances to the subtle way that they tell us about the lore without actually spoon feeding us what that lore is, to how all the costumes and the mechanics and the machines and stuff are designed in that world, the relationships between the characters. And then, this overarching story of being on a planet with our boy Timothée Chalamet and wondering whether or not he's going to be a white savior or not, or what kind of person he's going to become. I think all of that is fantastically interesting and compelling, and it's just a great, spectacular movie watching experience, the kind that we don't get very often. I think a lot back to like when I was a kid and I saw Jurassic Park in the movie theater and how monumental that felt, and like, oh my God, like the ground is quivering underneath me. That's the kind of feeling you get from watching Dune. Even though I don't think it's a perfect movie, far from it, it's still the best movie watching experience I've had in a very long time, and a welcome respite to our pandemic-ridden 2021. So that gets my award. It gets Mike's award. It gets Wes's maybe honorable mention. I'm reading into his eyes right now, and
I loved
gets
it.
It gets Savon's, oh, maybe I should go watch a movie sometime award. So there you have it.
Dang, yeah.
Savon almost watched it, which says a lot.
He almost watched it.
And then he started playing Apex.
Yeah. Well, I actually have I have a reason why I didn't see Dune.
Are you going to share it?
No, I'm not thinking.
Cliffhanger.
But just know,
That
this
comes
reason.
on next episode, ladies and gentlemen. That was quite the awards. First annual CWAs. We'll do it next year. Same awards. I think we should do them next year and see if we've gone any better. Brian, if Minari came out this year, where would you have placed it?
Oh, up high. But it wasn't as good of a movie watching experience as Dune, to be honest. Still a great movie.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Same with Judas and the Last Messiah. Judas and the Black Messiah?
Watch that. Yeah.
Friends, that's our 50th episode. Hit us up on socials, Instagram, Twitter, @confidently_pod. give us a comment. Tell us what you thought the best movie of the year was. Is there any hope for the DC cinematic universe? And what was your best, most favoriteest, confidently wrong rant of the past year? Visit all of our sponsors. You know which ones they are. Have a great one.
Leave a review.
Tell your friends.
Review on Apple Podcasts. 5 stars only. 5 stars.
Big facts.
5 stars.